We continue the story in Chapter 189 titled, Jumping Granny and Kung Fu Alien, and Chapter 190 titled, Merging is What Makes Us Strong. After that, the human-like alien continued her assault on Okarun while showing us a scene of a couple. We were suddenly shown a creepy incident where countless aliens seemed to be dragging a female alien who was in tears while trying to reach for something. Returning to the battle, the human-like alien delivered a triple kick combo to Okarun's body, to which he countered by using his verniers, forcefully pushing back against the human-like alien. The alien opened her helmet, and to prevent Okarun from pushing her back, she bit Okarun's right arm. Okarun screamed in pain, but he quickly regained his composure and countered with a solid pile bunker's attack to the alien's body. When he examined the alien closely, he was shocked. As he stared at it, he was surprised because he had thought he was fighting the octopus alien or the leader alien. The human-like alien closed her helmet again, and while Okarun was still distracted, she attacked with a side kick that hit Okarun's right arm. Okarun screamed from the extreme pain in his arm since it was the same one the alien had bitten earlier. He also became concerned when he touched his nanoskin suit. On the alien's side, a circular disc suddenly protruded from her left thigh and began spinning rapidly, creating what looked like a halo around it. Even the wings on her back developed similar rings. After preparing, she gained momentum using her left leg and delivered an incredibly powerful kick to Okarun that released a projectile. The force of this attack obliterated Okarun's durable nanoskin, sending him rolling across the ground. Hase turned toward them after repelling Sakata, and he was irritated with the alien. Just as the human-like alien was charging toward Okarun to follow up, Hase suddenly intervened between them, stopping the alien. He angrily called her an asshole and pointed out that he had told her that he would be the one to beat up Okarun, which also annoyed the human-like alien. Hase began to gather momentum to launch an attack, while saying that if the alien got in his way again, he would beat her up instead. After preparing, Hase delivered a powerful kick to the alien that sent her flying upward, but his attack didn't end there as he quickly jumped multiple times to get behind the alien. Once he reached that position, he clenched his legs, and when the alien made contact with him, he released the tremendous force accumulated in his legs, causing them to crash to the ground. The impact of Hase's attack was so strong that it cracked the ground and buried the human-like alien. The alien screamed in pain while Hase seemed to have gone mad with rage, repeatedly delivering drop kicks. While this was happening, Sakata saw Okarun lying on the ground and immediately asked if he was okay, to which Okarun replied that he was sorry because he had touched the gear. Irritated, Sakata called him a clumsy bastard for destroying the gear he had worked so hard to make, which made Okarun apologize even more. Next, Sakata said so be it. Since the situation had escalated to this point, they needed to merge. Okarun was puzzled by what he said, so he pointed out that if they merged, they would become stronger. Okarun shouted to wait and asked what exactly he meant because they weren't actual robots, to which Sakata objected by saying that was a poison mindset. While controlling the nanoskins, he said they were robots, but quickly retracted it and said that he himself was the robot, which confused Okarun about what he was talking about. He pulled Okarun into the Great Kinta while saying it was time to merge, causing Okarun to scream in fear. Sakata called upon the creative powers to unite with him, while Okarun was yelping in pain saying he's going to dislocate his shoulders. Nevertheless, this didn't stop Sakata from being in the zone as he shouted that this was the Great Merging. Before long, their merging was complete, and the appearance of the Great Kinta changed, gaining what looked like a more muscular upper body where Sakata was positioned, and a skirt-like lower body where Okarun was located in the crotch area. Okarun screamed at this and pointed out that their merging was basically just him carrying Sakata on his shoulders, while Sakata became angry because his creative powers were so weak. He explained that this design is totally lame, to which Okarun questioned what difference that would make. Next, Sakata said that he was the most skilled at controlling the Great Kinta, but Okarun was the one used to combat. He explained that to keep up with the movements of their enemies, they needed his sharp visual acuity and quick reflexes. While they were talking, we returned to Hase beating up the human-like alien. After repelling her one last time, he laughingly said that the alien was a noob. He also angrily shouted at her to stay the hell out of his way. Suddenly, he noticed something in front of him, which turned out to be Sakata and Okarun, who had attempted to punch him after seeing an opening. While dodging, Hase asked what he was looking at and told them to make sure they weren't thinking this was a joke, while Sakata was concerned because their attack hadn't landed. As a follow-up, he instructed Okarun to use their verniers, which he immediately did. Because of this, they were able to parry Hase's counter, earning Okarun praise from Sakata. Sakata followed up their attack with a blast wind thrust attack, which forced Hase to retreat. Out of irritation, Hase called Okarun a bastard and asked what he was doing there. He told him to hurry up and use his powers. While repelling the great Kinta, Hase added, asking if Okarun couldn't also use powers like these. Okarun called to Sakata and said that they had become heavier because of their merging. It was difficult to move, and the gear was completely wrecked. He shouted that merging had made them weaker, which Sakata found hard to believe. While they're still distracted, Hase took this opportunity to deliver another solid attack to them. He angrily called Okarun a bastard and told him to make sure he wasn't underestimating him. He added that Okarun wouldn't get away with this because he should be at the very bottom of the pile. On Okarun's side, he repeated that they had become weaker, which Sakata rejected, arguing that merging equals strength. As a counter, he tried to use a blast wind thrust attack on Hase, but Hase easily stopped it with his muscular legs. In an instant, the force of his attack rebounded and seemed to double as it shattered Sakata's punching arm, which alarmed him. He quickly thought to control the nanoskin, and because of that, he immediately restored it to normal and fixed it. Hase cursed in frustration and commented that this was a pain in the ass. Next, he tried to gain momentum and jumped quickly towards Sakata. But as he got close to them, he didn't expect they would be ready, so the pile bunker's attack from the two hit him solidly. He was repelled and shouted again in anger at Okarun. He asked if Okarun thought he could kick him and pointed out that Okarun was the most worthless creature. Sakata praised Okarun again for what he did, which Okarun brushed off, saying they weren't doing much damage like this. Sakata wondered what he meant by like this, so he asked if Okarun could create stronger weapons, to which Sakata replied that they barely had enough parts for that. Okarun then pointed out that wasn't the great Kinta's face too detailed. He suggested that Sakata simplify it to make more weapons, to which Sakata arrogantly asked if Okarun was some kind of moron. What? He explained that if a robot's face lacked coolness, why would he want to pilot it, which made Okarun shout that this wasn't the time for that. Sakata disagreed and shouted that that's where Okarun was wrong. He said that passion was more important, and added that it's because he has this passion that he was bestowed the power of inspiration. After that, while shouting passion with all his heart, he tried to deliver a left straight toward Hase. However, his passion did nothing, and Hase easily kicked them upward just like he did to the human-like alien earlier. The two of them screamed in pain from the damage they sustained, while Hase immediately gained momentum to follow up his attack. He shouted that Okarun, a bottom feeder acting all high and mighty, was not getting away with this. After clenching his legs, he jumped toward the two and repeatedly did it like an incredibly fast rocket, causing the gradual destruction of the great Kinta. He showed his extreme anger by not stopping his assault on Okarun and Sakata until their nano-suit was completely destroyed. He also said that freaking lowlifes like Okarun trying to stand up to him at all gives him the creeps. After saying that, he kicked the two upward with all his strength, leaving their bodies exposed. He followed it with a spin kick, and while he was doing that, Okarun stared at him. Suddenly, Okarun remembered a scene where Hase was bothering him while he was reading a magazine. Hase took what he was reading without warning and commented that it was wild and that Okarun was apparently a conspiracy nut. He added that Okarun gave him the creeps, and his friends started laughing. Hase brought his face close to Okarun's and teasingly said that people who believe this kind of shit are better off dead. Okarun didn't say anything in response, so Hase repeatedly tried to get his attention and asked if he was listening. After recalling this, Okarun suddenly grabbed Hase in the present while shouting passion. Irritated, Hase called him an asshole and ordered him to stop hugging him because it gave him the creeps. However, he didn't let go of him and said that he's the one who's not letting Hase get away with this. He pointed out that up until now, they were told they didn't exist, But now the US government has officially acknowledged the existence of UFOs. He added that Project MKUltra, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, and Operation Mockingbird all happened too. Next, he called to Sakata and immediately ordered him to merge, to which Sakata shouted epic heroism. Before long, they created a new suit using the nanoskin that looked like an upgraded jetpack with restraints on Hase's feet, which caused him to be locked in place. Hase became concerned when he couldn't move his legs, while Sakata arrogantly asked Okarun what he had said earlier about their epic merging. They began flying to extreme heights, while Okarun answered Sakata by saying that because of their merging they had become slower and heavier and weaker. Sakata still couldn't believe it and asked if what Okarun was saying was that merging makes them heavier, while Hase was furiously telling them to release him. After that, Sakata pointed out that Okarun was completely wrong, which made Okarun ask where, to which Sakata answered about them being weaker, while Hase continued trying to escape from his restraints. When they reached the extreme heights, they stopped there and Sakata said that if they merge, it's actually what makes them stronger. Hase screamed out of concern for himself, and soon they quickly flew down to the ground, causing Hase's body to be buried in the earth, and the force of that impact caused the shaking of his past, present, and future. Smoke enveloped where they landed, and when it cleared, we were shown Hase in his normal form and unconscious. Meanwhile, the severely beaten human-like alien slowly stood up near them, and after seeing Hase, decided to fly away from the scene. Inside the smoke, Sakata and Okarun stood, and Sakata suddenly commented that he was giving Okarun permission, which made Okarun ask what it was for. With their arms around each other's shoulders and giving a thumbs up, Sakata said it was for calling him Colonel, which Okarun just brushed off.